Well, George, first to put this in perspective, and as some of your correspondents just said, this is the worst attack on Israel since 1973, the Yom Kippur War, almost exactly 50 years ago. But there's a fundamental difference. That was a war that was state to state, country to country, army to army. This is a massive terrorist attack that is gunning down Israeli civilians in their towns, in their homes, and as we've seen so graphically, literally dragging people across the border with Gaza, including a Holocaust survivor in a wheelchair, women and children. So you can imagine the impact this is having throughout Israel, and the world should be revolted at what it's seen. We have immediately engaged our Israeli partners and allies. President Biden was on the phone with Prime Minister Netanyahu early yesterday to assure him of our full support. I was on the phone with the Israeli president, the foreign minister. The entire government has been engaged throughout the region and well beyond, both to build support for Israel and to make sure that every country was using whatever means it has, whatever influence it has, to pull Hamas back, and also to make sure that we don't see conflict erupt in other areas. The President sent a very clear message that no one should try to take advantage of this elsewhere.
How do you explain this intelligence failure, especially on the anniversary of the Yom Kippur War?
George, there'll be time to look at that and to make determinations about what may have been missed. And right now, the focus has to be on the effort to get to repel the aggression by the Hamas terrorists, to push them back, and to put Israel in a position where this doesn't happen again.
But there are implications for the United States as well, of course. We rely on Israeli intelligence, don't we?
We have a very close relationship with Israeli intelligence, as well as with the Israeli military, as well as with Israel more broadly. So yes, of course, this is something that they and we will be looking at. But the effort right now has to be in dealing with the aggression from Hamas, with these attacks. There remains intense fighting around Gaza. We continue to see that. The rest of the country right now seems to be calmer, but the intensity of the fighting is real. And we had about 1,000 Hamas militants who infiltrated Israel. Most of them seem to have either been killed or have gone back into Gaza. But as I said, intense fighting remains. So that's the focus. And the focus is also on taking steps to make sure, to the best of their ability for Israel, that this doesn't repeat itself.
So with all the issues going on between Israel and Palestine, and how Israel has waged all-out war on Gaza, and how the people in Gaza are really feeling the pinch. So I saw this article and I want us to go through it because I believe that everyone, irrespective of their beliefs, should have the right to live freely in their own country or on their own soil. And sometimes things do happen that are beyond our control, and we are just caught in the middle, which is really, really sad. Hamas did something that was very horrible. The attacks on Israel by Hamas was something that no one should ever condone. And no matter what was going on between Hamas and Israel, Hamas had no right to do this to common people, to the ordinary citizens of Israel. This is really, really wrong. And also, what Israel is doing to Gaza is totally wrong. And I hope that everyone will be able to condemn both sides for what they are doing. Everyone should be able to say that what Hamas did was wrong. And at the same time, what Israel is currently doing in Gaza is also wrong. For Israel to put Gaza under a siege is totally wrong, because there are 2.5 million people, plus or minus, living in Gaza. And with this siege in place, do you know how difficult things are going to get to the ordinary people who just want to get on with their lives They don't want to get involved in all this. They just want to be left to live their lives. That is it. And now they have been trapped in the middle. What is their crime? What did they do? Except being born in a place that no one knows the way forward. Except just that. What did they actually do? So I want us to go through this article before I will let you know my thoughts on all this issue in Gaza. So let's continue. So the headline reads, Israel orders complete siege on Gaza to cut off power, food, and fuel supply. So Israel want to cut off everything from Gaza. And if Israel does that, what will happen to the 2.5 plus or minus people living in Gaza? What will happen to them? Is Israel really thinking this through? Or are they just blinded by the incident committed by Hamas? So if Hamas attacked Israel and killed people, that which everyone, including myself, have condemned, does that give Israel the right to just ramshackle the whole of Gaza, irrespective of what will happen to the children in Gaza? Don't Palestinian children deserve to live? Don't they deserve to have food, to have basic things? Don't they? So, do we really think that if Israel just went into Gaza and then took a bulldozer and just break everything down, that will somehow solve the problem? That will somehow eliminate the Hamas threat? Or that will somehow make people like them more or sympathize with them more? No. You don't get people to come to your side by committing a far more bigger atrocities than your oppressors. That's not how things work. If you want people to come to your side, you must show compassion and have some empathy for people who will be affected if you did certain things. You must think things through before you carry on with them. And I think that Israel just want to prove themselves to be a powerful state in the region. But mindful, where were they when all this took place? Where were they when Hamas breached the border? Where were they when Hamas carried out these despicable actions in Israel? Where were they? What happened to their security system? Did they turn it offline on purpose? How did no one knew what was going on? These are all the questions people are asking themselves. And I hope that the people in Israel should be asking themselves the same questions. And maybe, just maybe, we might understand who the boogeyman actually is.